Mastering emotions is a central theme in Buddhism, which teaches methods for cultivating inner peace and self-awareness. Here are 9 Buddhist secrets for mastering your emotions and building a calm, resilient inner state. 1. Mindfulness, sati, cultivating awareness of the present moment. Mindfulness, or sati, is one of the fundamental practices in Buddhism for emotional mastery. By bringing full awareness to the present moment, you gain insight into how emotions arise and dissipate without getting swept away by them. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises from our attachments, our intense desires or aversions toward people, objects, or ideas. When we react impulsively to our emotions, we strengthen these attachments, which often leads to regret, stress, or confusion. Practicing mindfulness means observing our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. This requires patience and consistency, often beginning with small practices like mindful breathing or paying close attention to the sensations of daily activities. When an intense emotion arises, such as anger, jealousy, or sadness, try observing it without judgment. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm angry," you could think, "Anger is present." This simple shift in language can be transformative because it distances you from the emotion, making it easier to examine its roots. Maybe anger arose because someone insulted you, or jealousy emerged when a friend succeeded. By identifying the root cause, you can understand and detach from it. Through mindfulness, you can also notice the physical sensations that accompany emotions. For instance, when anger arises, you may feel your heart rate increase or muscles tense. Observing these sensations as just sensations can help you separate the emotion from your sense of self, weakening its grip over you. 2. Impermanence, anicca, embracing change. One of the core teachings in Buddhism is anicca, or impermanence, the concept that all things are in a constant state of change. When we cling to fleeting emotions as if they're permanent, we set ourselves up for suffering. Understanding and accepting impermanence can help us deal with emotions with grace and resilience. Impermanence teaches that emotions, like everything else, are temporary. They ebb and flow, arising and fading as naturally as waves in the ocean. If you experience joy or anger, know that these feelings too will pass. Just as the seasons change, emotions cycle, reminding us not to get too attached to any one state of mind. To practice acceptance of impermanence, you can reflect on the natural world. Trees shed their leaves, rivers flow and change course, even the seemingly solid mountains erode over time. Human emotions are no different. When you experience happiness, cherish it without clinging to it. When you experience sadness, endure it without despairing. Meditation can deepen your awareness of impermanence. In a common Buddhist practice called observing the breath, you focus on each inhalation and exhalation, noticing how each breath is unique and can never be exactly repeated. This exercise helps build awareness of life's constant state of flux and reminds us not to be so attached to fleeting feelings. 3. Loving kindness, metta, cultivating compassion for yourself and others. Emotional mastery in Buddhism is not about suppressing emotions, but rather about transforming them into compassion, empathy, and understanding. Metta, or loving kindness, is a practice of developing unconditional kindness for oneself and others. This practice allows us to respond to emotions, especially difficult ones, with compassion, rather than frustration or judgment. To start practicing metta, sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and bring to mind a person or being you care about deeply. Begin by wishing them happiness, health, and peace. Over time, expand this loving kindness to others, including those you may have conflicts with. Practicing compassion toward difficult individuals is especially important because it helps dissolve feelings of resentment, frustration, or anger. Self-compassion is also an essential aspect of metta. Often, people are harder on themselves than they would be on others, creating a cycle of negative emotions and self-blame. By practicing self-compassion, you can learn to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. When faced with emotions like sadness or anger, try acknowledging them without judgment, offering yourself words of comfort. For example, you could say, "It's okay to feel this way. I am human, and this too shall pass." Over time, metta practice cultivates resilience by building a foundation of inner kindness. When you face criticism, rejection, or failure, you can rely on your own inner compassion to soothe yourself, instead of seeking approval or validation from others. This practice helps you approach all emotions with a sense of spaciousness and understanding, preventing you from getting overwhelmed. Integrating these secrets into daily life. Mastering emotions with Buddhist practices requires dedication and patience. Here are a few suggestions for integrating these practices into daily life. Mindfulness reminders. Use small reminders throughout the day to practice mindfulness. When you feel an emotion arising, pause and take 3 mindful breaths, observing the feeling without acting on it. Reflect on impermanence. When you encounter moments of both joy and hardship, remind yourself of their impermanence. This reflection can be particularly useful during emotionally charged situations, helping you stay grounded. Metta meditation routine. Dedicate a few minutes each day to metta meditation. Start with people you love, gradually expanding to neutral people, difficult people, and finally, yourself. This daily practice builds emotional resilience and kindness over time. Emotional mastery is a lifelong journey, and even the most accomplished practitioners experience challenges. However, by cultivating mindfulness, accepting impermanence, and nurturing compassion, you can move toward a state of emotional equilibrium and wisdom. Through these practices, you don't suppress emotions, but rather learn to engage with them in a way that fosters inner peace and clarity. 4. Non-attachment, upadana, letting go of clinging. One of the most powerful concepts in Buddhism for mastering emotions is upadana, or non-attachment. This practice teaches us to loosen our grip on our desires and attachments, which are often at the root of emotional turbulence. When we attach ourselves to specific outcomes, people, or objects, we inevitably set ourselves up for suffering. Non-attachment is not the same as detachment. It doesn't mean rejecting or avoiding experiences. Rather, it's about participating fully in life without being dependent on particular results. Non-attachment can be practiced in various areas of life. For instance, if you set a goal for yourself, work towards it wholeheartedly, but remain unattached to the outcome. This mindset can prevent feelings of disappointment, frustration, or anger from taking over if things don't go as planned. The same approach applies to relationships. Cherish people, but recognize that they too are impermanent and independent beings. To cultivate non-attachment, try observing the way your mind clings to desires. Are you trying to control how a conversation goes? Are you intensely focused on receiving praise or success? Gently remind yourself to let go of these expectations. You can practice non-attachment by using affirmations like, "I let go of my need to control outcomes," or "I release the need to cling to this desire." In meditation, this practice can be strengthened through visualization exercises. Imagine your attachments as balloons you're holding tightly. In your mind, release them one by one, watching them float away. This exercise helps you see that letting go doesn't diminish your joy or engagement. Instead, it frees you from unnecessary suffering and promotes a deep inner calm. 5. Right understanding, samadhi, cultivating wise perspective. In Buddhism, samadhi, or right understanding, is the first step on the Noble Eightfold Path. It involves gaining insight into the true nature of reality and cultivating a wise perspective on life's challenges. Right understanding helps us interpret our experiences, emotions, and relationships in a balanced way, allowing us to see beyond surface-level reactions and reach deeper truths. This perspective building can be especially helpful for handling challenging emotions, as it encourages us to examine situations from a broader and often more compassionate point of view. To practice right understanding, start by considering the principle of karma, which is the Buddhist concept that actions have consequences. Understanding karma allows us to see that every action has ripple effects on both ourselves and others. For example, if you act out of anger, this may cause harm and lead to regret later. Similarly, choosing patience and kindness, even in tough situations, can bring peace and positive outcomes over time. Right understanding encourages us to take responsibility for our emotional responses and actions, knowing they influence our well-being and the people around us. You can also use right understanding to reflect on the interconnectedness of all beings, a key Buddhist teaching. When faced with anger or resentment, try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Recognize that they too have experiences and struggles which may influence their behavior. Practicing this broad-minded view can diminish the intensity of negative emotions, leading to a more compassionate, understanding response. Daily reflection is a helpful tool for cultivating right understanding. Each day, set aside time to think about your emotions and actions with curiosity rather than judgment. You might ask yourself, what led to this feeling? Or, how can I respond to this with wisdom and compassion? Over time, this practice builds a wiser perspective on emotions and experiences, making it easier to respond skillfully rather than react impulsively. 6. Equanimity, upekkha, finding balance in life's highs and lows. The practice of upekkha, or equanimity, involves cultivating an even-minded and balanced attitude, especially in times of difficulty or joy. Equanimity doesn't mean indifference, but rather a deep resilience and steadiness that allows us to meet life's highs and lows without becoming overly affected by them. When we develop equanimity, we're better able to face emotions, both positive and negative, with acceptance and clarity, reducing the likelihood of getting swept away. Equanimity is often described as the heart of Buddhist wisdom because it helps us see beyond temporary feelings, bringing us closer to inner peace. Imagine a seesaw where one side represents joy and the other sorrow. Without equanimity, we might become intensely elated when things go our way and severely disappointed when they don't. Practicing equanimity helps us stay centered, realizing that both joy and sorrow are temporary states that do not define our true self. To cultivate equanimity, try practicing balanced breathing. This exercise involves inhaling and exhaling slowly, counting to 4 with each breath. Notice how your breath flows naturally, a reminder that life's ups and downs also ebb and flow. When faced with a challenging emotion or an exciting event, pause and take a few of these breaths, observing the emotion without being carried away by it. Reflecting on the impermanence of all feelings can help reinforce this steady mindset. Equanimity also involves accepting that some things are beyond our control. Buddhism teaches the principle of letting go of what we cannot change. By focusing on what we can influence, our responses, choices, and attitudes, we reduce unnecessary worry and emotional turmoil. Over time, the practice of equanimity helps us to remain calm in the face of both pleasure and pain, finding a sense of peace that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Applying these teachings in everyday life. Mastering emotions with these additional Buddhist practices, non-attachment, right understanding, and equanimity requires consistent effort, but the results are deeply transformative. Here are a few tips for integrating them into daily routines. Practice non-attachment. Set small daily goals without being fixated on their outcomes. Focus on the process rather than the result, and remind yourself that each experience is valuable, regardless of the outcome. Reflect on right understanding. When an emotional reaction arises, take a step back and analyze it from multiple perspectives. Ask yourself how this response aligns with your values and long-term peace, bringing a wise approach to interpreting your feelings. Foster equanimity with balanced breathing. Before reacting to any strong emotion, take a few moments to practice balanced breathing. Use this as a centering tool to prevent overreaction and to cultivate calm. By practicing non-attachment, right understanding, and equanimity, you can build a stronger emotional foundation. Buddhism offers these and other tools not to suppress feelings, but to understand and work with them skillfully. Emotions are natural and valuable. They remind us of our humanity. Yet, by observing, understanding, and balancing them, we gain the power to respond wisely, maintaining a sense of peace and compassion in all circumstances. Over time, these practices can transform both your inner world and your interactions with others, leading to a more fulfilling, emotionally balanced life. 7. Patience. Khanti. Practicing endurance with calm. Acceptance patience, or Khanti, is a vital Buddhist teaching, especially for handling challenging emotions. Patience allows us to accept the presence of difficult feelings without rushing to resolve or escape them. In Buddhism, patience is considered a form of strength, an ability to endure discomfort without letting it disturb our inner peace. Practicing patience involves accepting both people and situations as they are, without pushing for immediate change. For instance, if you feel anger rising when someone behaves unfairly, practicing patience can help you resist the urge to respond impulsively. Rather than reacting right away, patience allows you to take a step back, recognize the emotion, and understand that it doesn't need immediate resolution. This delay often gives you a chance to respond thoughtfully and from a place of wisdom, rather than from a place of irritation or frustration. One way to build patience is through mindful waiting. When you're waiting in line or facing a delay, use this time to notice your emotions. If you feel impatience or frustration, observe these feelings and let them pass without resistance. This practice helps train the mind to accept uncomfortable feelings without being controlled by them. In moments of emotional turbulence, you can also remind yourself, "This too shall pass," as a way of reinforcing patience. With time, Khanti brings a sense of stability and calm, helping you face challenges with resilience. 8. Self-inquiry, Vichara. Deepening self-knowledge to transform. Emotions. Self-inquiry, or Vichara, is a practice of introspection, encouraging us to question the roots of our emotions and understand their true nature. Self-inquiry helps us to delve deeply into the why behind our feelings, allowing us to uncover subconscious beliefs, fears, or past experiences that might be fueling our reactions. By shining a light on these hidden aspects, we gain insight into our emotional landscape and learn to respond more mindfully. In Buddhism, emotions are seen as mental formations that arise due to specific conditions. Through self-inquiry, we explore these conditions, questioning why certain people or situations provoke strong emotions in us. For example, if you feel intense jealousy, self-inquiry might reveal that this feeling stems from a fear of inadequacy or a desire for approval. Understanding this can help you address the root cause rather than being swept away by the surface-level emotion. To practice self-inquiry, set aside time for reflection, perhaps during meditation or journaling. Start by focusing on an emotion you've recently experienced. Ask yourself, what caused this feeling? Is there a belief or expectation underlying it? How has this feeling served me in the past? And is it still useful? By patiently examining these questions, you gain a deeper understanding of your emotions, making it easier to respond with clarity rather than impulse. With time, self-inquiry becomes a habit that transforms emotional experiences. Rather than getting stuck in cycles of anger, sadness, or anxiety, you can approach these feelings with curiosity, reducing their intensity and helping you to respond in ways aligned with your true self. 9. Gratitude, Katanuta, cultivating appreciation for the present moment. Gratitude, or Katanuta, is a powerful tool in Buddhism for transforming emotions and fostering a positive outlook on life. While gratitude might not seem like an obvious solution for mastering emotions, it helps us focus on the present, highlighting the good in our lives rather than what's lacking or troublesome. Cultivating gratitude encourages a positive mindset that reduces the grip of negative emotions and strengthens our resilience in the face of challenges. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we reframe our perspective, making it easier to approach life's challenges with acceptance and hope. For example, when experiencing disappointment or anger, gratitude reminds us of the good things that exist alongside these feelings. By shifting focus from what went wrong to what is still good, we prevent negative emotions from taking control. Gratitude doesn't eliminate negative emotions, but brings balance, making it easier to manage them without feeling overwhelmed. Practicing gratitude can be as simple as making a habit of listing 3 things you're thankful for each day. Some people keep a gratitude journal, writing about their experiences and reflecting on moments of kindness, joy, or beauty. This practice helps train the mind to notice positive aspects, even in difficult situations. You can also practice gratitude toward people in your life, silently appreciating their presence or even expressing your thanks directly. Gratitude meditation is another effective practice. Begin by focusing on your breath, then bring to mind something or someone you're grateful for. Reflect on the feeling of appreciation, allowing it to fill your heart. With practice, gratitude becomes a natural response, helping to keep emotions in perspective and maintaining a sense of inner peace. Practical steps to integrate these teachings into daily life. To benefit fully from Buddhist practices of patience, self-inquiry, and gratitude, it's helpful to integrate them into your daily routine. Here are a few simple tips. Daily patience practice. Set an intention each day to observe moments when you feel impatience. When these arise, take 3 deep breaths, reminding yourself that these emotions are temporary. Practicing patience helps cultivate a calm, enduring approach to life's frustrations. Journaling for self-inquiry. Make time each evening to reflect on any challenging emotions you experienced. Ask yourself questions to uncover their root causes and think about how you can address these origins directly, rather than just the surface emotions. Gratitude. Reflection. Before going to bed, list 3 things you're grateful for from your day. You can write these in a journal or simply reflect on them silently. This practice strengthens positive feelings, making it easier to stay balanced in times of difficulty. By practicing patience, engaging in self-inquiry, and cultivating gratitude, you build a foundation of emotional mastery that helps you handle life's ups and downs. Emotions are complex and often unpredictable, but by understanding and working with them, you gain the ability to experience life with equanimity and compassion. These Buddhist secrets provide not only tools for managing emotions, but also ways to grow as a person, fostering a deep sense of peace and inner joy. Over time, these practices will help you become more aware, resilient, and at ease, allowing you to meet life's challenges with a calm and open heart.